You can be what you wanna be. Be what you wanna be. You just be what you wanna be with me.
Good morning, beautiful people. Okay, let's see if we can get this happening. This is our second attempt. Good morning, happy Monday. My name is Sambowker, and this is another episode. Like, if you guys don't know me, I do a little show called Happy AF every Monday, and I normally do it in my little group, Mindset Warriors, but I was really called to jump in here today because I feel like there's so many of my beautiful friends that are here that are not aware of what it is that I'm doing. And so I thought I would jump in here today and share with you what I've been up to. So I'm just going to give it a minute for everybody kind of to jump on. So I hope you've all had an amazing weekend. I hope you've caught up with some friends. You've had some time to rest and relax and rejuvenate. If you're here with me, can you just let me know that you've got good sound? I'm going to just see if I can just make sure I can see you guys. If you're there, just feel free to give me a thumbs up or some love, or yes, I can hear the sound, whatever it is, just so that I know that you definitely can hear me and you can see me properly. But I really wanted to jump in here today and just share with you some of the stuff that's been going on lately. And I really hope that some of the stuff I'm going to share with you today might give you the opportunity to just start inquiring and start thinking about who you are, why you're here, and what it is that you have the opportunity to do on this beautiful planet that we call Mother Earth, right? And so I was really called to jump in and talk to all of my friends here in beautiful Facebook land today, because I've just noticed that there's so many people running around right now with, I guess, a bit of kind of concern about the state of the world and where we're at and what's happening. And I was just called to come in here and just share with you my experience about what's going on, and I guess how I am conducting myself in life these days, and what it is that I'm doing to ensure that I get to show up at 100% every single day. And that doesn't mean that I'm always going, balls to the wall, full tilt, hell for leather, but it just means that every single day that I wake up, I really am trying to do my very best to put my best foot forward and to really kind of show up and live my life as optimized and in a peak physical state, in a peak mental state. And so I just found myself this morning. I dropped my daughter to ice skating and I was at the gym and I didn't really feel like being there. And truth be told, I don't ever really feel like going to the gym. Like, if anyone here is a total gym junkie, like, I'd be keen to know, like, if you love the gym, just type in love the gym, because the reality is, for me, it has never been a place that I've enjoyed going to, right? And but a long time ago I realized, that there's a saying, someone who, is well has a million dreams, but a person who is sick only has but one, and that is to be well. And for me, that journey happened back in 2016. Now, I truthfully have not done a very good job at taking care of my body throughout my life, and I have not treated it with the respect that it deserves. I've kind of always just taken it for granted. I've certainly taken my health and my well-being for granted. And although I've had ongoing challenges with my back for a very good portion of my life, I never really was stopped still until probably August 2016. And I just want to set the scenes for you, okay? Because anybody here that has ever had back pain will be able to relate with the story that I'm about to share. In 2016, I injured my lower back in a yoga class. Now, truthfully, I don't think I really damaged it in yoga. It's just that it went in yoga, right? And it was ridiculous because it was at a time in my life when I had decided to start slowing down, right? I was like, okay, probably shouldn't do the kickboxing anymore. Torn calf muscle tells me that. And then when I recovered from my torn calf muscle, I started running and then I twisted my ankle and I was like, okay, all right, maybe I should just start slowing down. I'm not so young anymore. And I started going into this narrative, the universal narrative that, hey, as we get older, we change and our energy level changes and we, therefore should adjust accordingly, right? And that's a fairly reasonable statement to make, because the reality is that we are told that, you get to middle age and it's normal to start putting on a bit of weight around the midsection, and it's normal to have lower energy levels, and it's normal to maybe perhaps not sleep as well, and it's normal to not have as much energy. So anyway, I went down this path at this particular point in my life where I went, okay, I'm going to start doing yoga. And then in yoga, my back went, right? And that started me on essentially a 3-year journey of trials and tribulations. I mean, I did everything, right? I was so into what am I going to do to heal my back? And I didn't want surgery, right? I did not want surgery. So I started following Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I was confident I could heal my back, right? I started doing breath work. I started doing cold plunging. I got injections of oxygen into my back. I mean, I spent thousands and thousands of hours and thousands of dollars working towards healing my back. And every single one of the people that I spoke to said, nope, you're going to have back surgery. There's just no way you're going to avoid it. You're going to have back surgery, right? And the truth is that 3 years on, I did go through stages where I got better, but then I went snowboarding, or I got better and then I went horse riding. And the simple fact is that I always ended up back in agony. And it got to a point where essentially I got, gurneyed off to hospital 3 or 4 times, and I had to get the surgery. And I was really defeated at that point in my life, right? I was so defeated that this had happened, because I was like, oh my God, like, I have to have back surgery. It's never going to be the same again. And I had this whole big narrative inside my brain. But I also believed, I truly believed, that if I had been financially abundant, if I had had, enough time and energy and the resources, that I could have healed myself. And I still to this day believe that, right? However, what I also believe is that I made a choice to not set myself up earlier in life, and I made a choice to kind of be a bit of a risk taker. So I kind of had this like conflicting view. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Well, it started me on a journey, okay, of deciding that my health and well-being was super important. Now, I've always been a relatively vain person, like most women I know. I care about how I look, and I want to be pretty, and I want to stay young, and I want to be vibrant, and I want to have all of those things, right? But the reality is that, as we get older, we have side effects to that. And I knew that after having that back surgery, if I didn't start training my body, if I didn't get super strong in my core, that it was very likely I was going to have back issues for the rest of my life. And I didn't want that. Okay. So I started training. Right now, I started this conversation with, I don't love the gym. And truthfully, I still don't love the gym. But I know the importance of the gym, and I know the importance of building the strength. And ever since I, I guess took action there with training my body, I really have had relatively small issues, if any, really, with my back. Okay. And so what I really wanted to share with you today is that we make decisions about how we conduct ourselves based on the story that we've told ourselves. So in my situation, I was like, oh my God, like that pain that I was in, that was so great that, like, I had to find a solution. There was no way I could not find a solution, because it was so painful. And like, anyone that's had back pain knows how excruciating that is. And so I definitely went on a bit of a journey with, how do I heal this area of my life? And that kind of makes sense, right? Because the simple fact is, we will do more to avoid pain than we will to feel pleasure, right? We'll do more to avoid pain than we will to feel pleasure. And so often we have to get to the point where we are in so much pain that the pain associated with staying where we are is more than the pain associated with the change. So that was where I needed to get to before I decided that training my body, having a trainer, looking after it, going to the gym and doing that thing I really didn't want to do, that was less painful than having a sore back. Now, this has kind of started me on this journey, right? So it started me on this journey of starting to go, okay, all right, look, you know what? I've got a young daughter. She's only 10 years old. I want to have a long life. I want to be here for her, because I started relatively late. I want to be here for her, and not just here for her well into my 90s, but I want to be vibrant and energized, and I want to be healthy, and I want to be able to enjoy it. And, I don't want to just be here. I want to be thriving, not just surviving. And so, like all things, whenever I'm interested in learning how to do something, I want to find people that know, that have done this, that have been there, right? It's called modeling, okay? And it doesn't matter what you want to do, there is somebody that's probably already done it, and you can go and you can copy what they've done. So I recently did a workshop with my good mate Tony Robbins, except it was his organisation, except he wasn't really there. And I was introduced to a guy called Peter Diamandis. Now, Peter Diamandis, he's an amazing kind of human being. I circled his stuff here because I wanted to kind of share it with you. But the reality is, I'm just going to show you this book, okay? It's called Life Force, okay? It is a huge book. I mean, seriously thick book, right? Now, I got it on Audible, and I also am reading the hard copy of it. And the reason that I'm sharing this book with you is that at the end of this conference, Peter Diamandis spent about 3 hours talking to us about all of these amazing breakthrough technologies. Now, I have been passionate about the mind for years, right? I truly believe this is a supercomputer. I believe it has the power to make you well, it has the power to make you sick, it has the power to make you angry, happy, sad, mad, whatever you want. This here has the capacity to do that for you, right? And if you know how to use this supercomputer, you are laughing. You can literally get anything you want in life by changing the way you think about it, right? And so I already know so much about the mind, and I'm obsessed with it. I want to know more about it. And I've always really been, I guess, passionate about this because for such a long period of my life, I struggled with anxiety and, depression and addiction. And when I say I struggled, I really probably didn't know I was struggling with anxiety or even depression for that matter. And I don't even know that I would call it depression, but definitely anxiety, right? But the side effect for me was that I was addicted for a very long time of my life, right? I was self medicating and I didn't feel good and I really was not living my best life. And so this guy introduced me to how to train my mind. He was the one that taught me that I could put myself in a peak physical state and I could go from feeling sad to happy like that, right? And I just worked with a client the other day who came in and said to me, look, I've been so depressed all week. I don't really know what's going on. And we literally put one song on, right? One song, and jumped up and down, screamed like crazy people. I taught him a power pose. He did some breathing. He screamed, I'm amazing, I'm awesome, I'm amazing, I'm awesome. Jumped up and down like a crazy person. And at the end of it, his whole energy state was different, right? He felt amazing. And he was like, oh my God, can it be that simple? And I'm like, yes, it can be that simple, right? You need to work this muscle. You need to make a decision that feeling sad and depressed is not who you want to be. Feeling good is what you want. And then you need to go and take the actions required. Now, it's simple, but it's not easy because the reality is it's much easier to just go, oh, this is too hard. I can't be bothered. I haven't got the energy. I'm tired. And let's face it, depressed people often get energy and attention from people. When people injure themselves, they get energy and attention. And so if they're lacking that in some other area of their life, and then they're getting fed it when they feel depressed or sad or injured, then often unconsciously their body's going to go all right, or their brain's going to go, hey, you know what, when we're depressed, when we're sad, when we're angry, when we're mad, we get a good response, so let's just keep doing that. And I'm not saying they do it deliberately and they're not aware of themselves doing it, okay, but they are doing it to themselves. Now, there is a very small percentage of people that have a chemical imbalance that are causing it, but you can change your your chemistry. You can change your chemistry by moving your physiology. Like, we know this. Scientists have proven this, right? And so the reason I wanted to share this book with you, okay, is that this book talks about technologies that some of which are available now and some of which that the authors in this book that are donating all of the funds of this book, right, to the research. They're not making any money out of it, and they're doing it to fund, feeding people, feeding the poor. Like, they're not doing it for the money. They're doing it because Tony Robbins, who is a guy who I just think is, in this lifetime, I don't know there will ever be another Tony Robbins, but he has done more for people with mental health issues and I guess, lack of performance issues than anybody. He has worked with, elite athletes, presidents, prime ministers. I mean, he's like seriously up there, right? Businessman. He's a crazy guy, and he injured his shoulder. And this was the story that really grabbed me, okay? He injured his shoulder and he was told that he had to go and get surgery. And he didn't want to get surgery, okay? Because if he got surgery, with the kind of work that he does, he was definitely going to have at least a 6 month recovery. And then on top of having a 6 month recovery, he was then going to have to, be in a situation where potentially his shoulder would freeze, he would hurt, it wouldn't work. There was all of this stuff going on, right? And he decided that that wasn't an option for him. And that was when he went and spoke to his friend Peter Diamandis. And Peter suggested that he go and see this head surgeon who happened, or a neurosurgeon, but who also happened to be at the cutting edge of stem cell research, right? And essentially, after 3 injections of stem cell into his shoulder, he has never had a problem. And that was 6 years ago. It also healed his back. Now, I know stem cell research or stem cell therapy was very controversial a few years ago because they were utilizing, I believe, aborted fetuses and things like that. But it's come a long way. They're now using the placenta, which is a part of, that gets thrown away essentially through childbirth. And so this guy has like created this research and created this technology. Now I'm not using all the right words because hey, I'm layman and I don't really understand it, but if someone told you you had to, get back surgery or shoulder surgery and there was going to be, a big risk of it not working and there was going to be lots of downtime and you're never going to be as good again versus you could go and do this stem cell stuff and it's going to fix your back. Like, who wouldn't go there first? You can always go and get cut later, right? And so this isn't necessarily just about this book, right? This show that I call Happy AF, the reason I'm so passionate about this kind of stuff is that this is cutting edge technology. And, I want you to start questioning yourself when you start with a narrative. If you say things like, I forget all the time, or, oh, my brain is broken, or I'm just depressed, or I'm just sad, or I'm a naturally anxious person, like, are you attached to keeping that identity? Because if you are, keep saying it. But if you don't think that that identity serves the version of you that you would like to be, then just know there is people out there that have got less resources and less intelligence than you that have been able to overcome whatever it is that you're struggling with. Success leaves clues. There is people out there that can help you and support you and nurture you and give you guidance. You just have to be prepared and willing to look. So I started by saying a healthy person has a million dreams. Someone who's sick only has one. So what if I said that prevention is better than cure? What if I said that you have the opportunity to prevent yourself from becoming unwell in the mind or in the body? Would you want to know more? Like, I don't know about you, but I certainly do. Because I want to live for as long as I can, as well as I can. There's too much to do. Like, I love life. I love all of the things that I get to do on a daily basis. And I want to do more of them. And I want to help everybody that I know to do the same. So enough about this book, right? Go and check it out. It's well worth it if you're interested in longevity or you've got someone that you love. And by the way, I don't get anything from any of these books. I just am obsessed with learning new information. This is the latest information I'm super excited about. And I mean, it's a hefty book, right? I'm listening to it on Audible and then I'm hearing things and I'm going back through the book and I'm circling stuff and I'm making notations of what I want to research. What do I want to know more about? Because 20 years ago, I didn't really care about my body. I didn't treat it with the respect it deserved. Now I want to reverse aging as much as I possibly can so that I can live as long and as healthy and as well as possible. Because I got too much damn shit to do in this world, right? So I want to stick around. I want to be here. The book, thanks for asking, Sarah. The book is called Life Force, right? And it is by Tony Robbins, Peter Diamandis, and Robert Harari. Okay, you can get it on Audible. If you're in Australia, it's $22 at Big W. I mean, super cheap. Seriously, that is a ridiculous book for $22. And on Audible, you can get it for free. If you don't have an Audible subscription yet, get it as your first book ever. And I'd love to know what you guys think about it because I'm going to be talking a lot more about it. I'm like a bit obsessed. Okay. So let's talk about being happy. Okay. There is so many different things that you can do to change your state of happiness, right? Now, I've talked a lot about your physiology and I've talked a lot about moving your body, right? So your physiology is moving your body. Listening to music, right, can change your state. It can give you what's called a pattern interrupt. Using incantations are just affirmations, but with movement and in a highly emotionalized state, in a peak state, right? You can get yourself in a peak state through listening to music, through dancing around. You can get yourself into a peak state through breath work. But my favorite is just jumping up and down, screaming like a crazy person, doing my power pose, which is yes, and then saying my affirmations, right? But I also want to ask you, like, what have you got to look forward to in life? What are the things that get you excited? Now, over the weekend, right, I sat down with my daughter and we started making a list, a bucket list of all the things that we want to do, small things and big things. Travels overseas, local trips, weekends away, just day trips, little adventures that we want to go on that we can start making plans for. And we sat down and we went through my calendar and we booked in some trips, right? We booked in a week down the snow. And I got to tell you, like, I have never prioritized fun. I have never prioritized fun. I've always been a workaholic. And I've done this. It doesn't matter how much I earn. I've always felt like I've got this core, value and belief that I need to work more and do more. And I have to do all of that so that I can be more. And it's simply not true. It's just that that comes from an old pattern, an old belief system, right? A root core belief that I have to work hard for the money and I have to earn my worth and I have to show up and work harder than everybody else. And that may be true, but the thing is that if we don't take time out for ourselves, if we don't stop and play and have some fun and give ourselves a moment in time, then the simple fact is, why are we doing all of this? Like, what's the point? What is the point in working every day and, earning all this money if after working every day and earning all this money, we're then too tired to enjoy it, we're unwell because we don't look after ourselves, we then don't actually enjoy where we're going or what we're doing, and we don't have anything to look forward to. So I sat down and I was so excited. I went and I bought myself a new snowboard and I bought new snowboard boots and new bindings, and I booked a trip for a week down the snow, and I booked a ski in, ski out, chalet lodge, right? And, truthfully, I haven't booked a holiday like that in ages, right? I was supposed to go away at Christmas to Fiji and then I got COVID. So I haven't had a holiday for a few years. And this particular trip was the trip that I booked in 2016, and then I hurt my back. So this is kind of like a bit of a landmark thing for me to be booking this trip and to finally be going after, well, it's now, what is it, 2016? I mean, this is like 6 years ago. And I've never gone and done this trip. So I've booked the same accommodation. Like, I'm so freaking excited. And my daughter is excited. And we're like, you know what? Let's start making plans. So if we've got time off now, we've made a decision. We're going to go on little road trips and little adventures. And she sat there telling me about a road trip that we'd gone on. And I was like, Bella, that was like 6 years ago. She was literally 4 years old. And the stuff she could remember out of this trip blew my mind. So I was like, okay, all of this work is great, but what am I looking forward to? So I want to ask you to have a think about it. What are the things that you're looking forward to? What are the actions that you're going to take to put something in place so that you've got something to look forward to? It doesn't have to cost a lot. What do you enjoy doing? When was the last time you sat down and thought to yourself, okay, I would like to go and have lunch at this place, or I'd like to go and connect with this friend, or I'd like to go and have a sleepover at this person's house, or I'd like to go on a little bit of a road trip. Things don't have to cost a lot of money. But if you don't plan, right, for fun, then fun, you're leaving it up to chance. It may or it may not happen, right? Now, I typically have fun just living my life, but that doesn't mean I'm actually going out of my way to do things that are fun. And I definitely have noticed that my energy and my vitality has become a lot lower, and I'm a lot tireder and I'm heaps sluggish when I wake up in the morning. And I love my life. So I know now it's because I'm exhausted, right? It's because I haven't been making that time. I've been allowing other things to get in the way. I'm human, okay? I'll find I get really good with my exercise, but then my food might drop out, and then I'll fix my food and my exercise will be good, but then I won't actually sleep enough. So it's important to kind of look at all these different components of your life, your health and your wealth. Like, wealth comes from having good health and having enough money to enjoy it, and enough time and rest and relaxation and connection with your friends. wealth is not just about having money, because if you are wealthy AF and you're sick, then I'm telling you, that's not wealthy, right? That's financially abundant and sick AF, and then you can't get any opportunity to use it. So my mission now is all about, how do I optimize this whilst optimizing this so that I can go out and live my very best life, right? Positively impacting people, doing what I love, working here in my clinic, creating shows, running workshops, and all of these things. I cannot do them if I'm not well. So listen, if you're interested, if you want to gift yourself with some energy and vitality, if you want to gift yourself with creating a life that is more abundant and prosperous and energetic and exciting than what you've currently got, then you've just got to come to my next workshop, right? I'll give you a free ticket. Just type in hashtag free ticket and I'll hook you up, okay? I would love you to come. And for 3 hours, all we are going to do is we're going to plan out what abundance looks like for you, what prosperity looks like, how your health and your wealth and your relationships and your finances and all of these things, how they play a role in your happy factor, right? So if you're not living your life super happy, if you're not in your dream relationship, if you're not in your dream job, if you find that you're stressed or anxious or depressed, if you find that you're addicted, if you find that you're not actually out there living your life on purpose, then come and hang out with me for a few hours. It's on I think it's the 30th of April. It's a Monday. It's a couple of hours, and I'd love you to come and hang out with us. And if you come and hang out with us, I guarantee you, if you don't think that after a couple of hours it was well worth your time, then I don't know, I'll give you $50. Right? You can come for free, and I'll give you $50 if you think it was a waste of your time, because I appreciate your time is the most valuable commodity you've got, right? So yeah, on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. Check out this book, Life Force by Tony Robbins. Ask yourself, what is something you're excited to look forward to? Plan something. Make a plan. Make a plan to connect with someone, to go somewhere, to do something, to learn something new. Take action today on something that's going to help you move the dial towards your happy factor. And on that note, normally I'm in my group, Mindset Warriors. So if you want to come and hang out with us every Monday, we jump on, and if you've got any questions, reach out. Please just send me a direct message or comment in the sections below, and I will be happy to answer them. Hope you have a beautiful day. Hope you're living your life happy AF. My name is Sambowker. I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.